You're listening to Erica Latrice on the air. Your one-stop shop for inspiration. Visit us online at www.ericalatrice.com. Embody the movement, empower your life. Now, here is your host, Erica.
Hello and welcome. I'm Erica Latrice, and this is Erica Latrice on the air, your one-stop shop for inspiration. And I have a double dose of inspiration for you guys on today's show. As I always tell you, grab your coffee, your tea, your water, your snack, and a notepad, because I can promise you you're going to leave with some actionable steps for, hint, some unconditional growth and happiness. That's what we're talking about today. So I have two very special guests with me who are going to introduce themselves. And I want to start off with our happiness curator, Juliet Harris. Can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
Hi, Erica. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm Juliet. I empower women to live their best lives. And because as women, we need to stand on our 2 feet and use our voice that we were given. And I find that a lot of the time women don't do that. So I help them stand on their feet, basically. And talk to the world and to make no apology for who they are.
All caps, amen to that. And amen to that. Now, our next guest, she is the unconditional growth expert, and I'm just loving what we have for you guys today. So Naz Echeverria, can you share with us a bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much, Erica, for having me on. I'm really excited to chat with you both. As she said, my name's Naz Echeverria. I'm a business growth strategist. I'm the owner of Next Level Up CEO and the founder of the Unconditional Growth Method. I'm here today to talk to you about the Unconditional Growth Method and how I show driven women to remove the conditions to their growth so that they can find their own version of success and grow their business and their lives beyond their wildest dreams.
Yeah, so we're talking about everyone's favorite topics, I would hope: success, growth, happiness, and everything in between. So before we jump into all of the goodies, I want to talk about one of our challenges right now that we've been doing on the show is the Doppelganger Challenge. Now, I will not bore you all who's listening if you already heard my doppelganger, but if you go to my Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're at on social media at Erica Empowers, you can see I'm the person that I get compared to all the time. But this is always a fun question. So do either of you have a celebrity lookalike or someone that you've been confused with before? If so, who is it? Let's start. How about you, Juliet?
No, I don't actually. I seem to be unique. and I'll take that.
That's a privilege. That's a good thing, because it's so awkward, especially if you don't know what the person looks like or something. So you're wondering, why are you being compared to them? And then when you see them, it's kind of intimidating. How about you, Naz?
When I was younger, I used to sometimes get told that I look like Beverly Mitchell. It's a long time ago. So there was a show called Seventh Heaven and she's on there, but I don't see the resemblance at all. And ever since then, haven't heard much else, but I kind of want to know who your doppelganger is.
Yes, I'm so curious. Is Beverly the sister, Jessica Biel's little sister?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I remember that. This is fun too, because it's going to make people go to your site to compare you. I've been compared to the actress Tika Sumpter, and she's on the Have and Have Not. She's on a new ABC show, Mixed-ish. And as soon as her show came out, random people started asking me about the storyline, and I was kind of thrown off because I didn't watch the show. And so I had, ever since then, I'll have random people calling me her character's name. So this is kind of cool. So go check out Naz's site so that you can get a little hint at Jessica's TV little sister. All right. So I really want to start here. I want to start with, a lot of times, usually it's some type of adversity or aha moment that starts us with, it just puts us in that place where we're kind of determined, I have to do this now. And you both have stepped out into entrepreneurship. So my question to you is, I'll start with you, Naz. is there a specific moment that you knew that you had to develop unconditional growth? And if so, what was that moment for you? Like what brought the passion for you?
Yes. Just so you know, this is my favorite question ever. It's actually what I talk about all the time with my clients, so I love it. My moment of transformation, interestingly enough, started when I was younger. I always joke that I was never remarkable at anything. I wasn't like the best athlete out there. I wasn't like a straight A student. None of those things, but my family put a really huge push towards academic excellence, and it was just not something I was really that great at. And so I was the kid who, like, I was always working hard, but I wasn't this remarkable person, like not in a bad way. There was nothing that really fit me. So I was also the kid who I believed in getting better, and I believed that I had an opportunity to be something more. And so rather than letting these ideas of what success looked like, whether it was straight A's or being on varsity soccer, I didn't really let that get me down. So what I did instead was I would make bets with myself every single day. I would go and say that I have to make 10 goals in a row before I would go inside. And then the next day, 15 goals and 20 goals, etc. And I didn't care about proving myself to someone. I wanted to prove myself to me. I wanted to show that I could create growth that was unconditional and didn't fit into some idea of what success needed to be. And from there, it really transformed who I was and has allowed me to help hundreds of other business owners really take away the conditions that we have for what we think we need to have in order to be successful and create their own version of success.
Gosh, I think that's so powerful because it's in those moments. And I think it's funny because I'm like, I've already seen so many special things about you, Naz, and we're like just connecting for the first time. So it's so interesting, like our vantage point of ourselves and what other people see, the power that we bring. And also like the hint that it's giving us ahead of time. So my question for you, Juliet, did you have a moment like that, or did you get any type of glimpse as you were growing up that you would start working on the things that you do now? Like what prompted that passion for you?
Not at all. Basically, life happened to me about 4 or 5 years ago. I experienced different setbacks. One was when my startup went bust, learned a lot from that. Then following that, my mom passed away. So, you kind of start reevaluating a bit everything in your life when that happens, especially when your relationship with your mom wasn't very good. And then being in a very toxic relationship, I thought, wow, okay, how much more can I take? But, it's always in those moments that you start growing. If you put your mind to it, you take all these different lessons that the universe sent to you and you say, okay, what am I supposed to do with all this knowledge that I'm getting? And one day I was like, yeah, I want to coach people, basically, because I want to show women, that whatever is thrown at us, we can strive and we can get on to the other side and be the best that we can. So that was my message when I decided to launch this. And I love it. I just love helping women. It's just so inspiring. I'm just tuned in, tapped in. It just gives me so much joy.
I think that's so good what you just said too. It's so funny because it's like, as you share all of the things that you just shared, it's interesting when we get to that place where usually the story ends with, and all these horrible things happened. So I did not live happily ever after and I quit. And Julia, you turned that on its head. It's like, no, all these things happen. And so now I actually like curate happiness, and it's like, what? How? So I love that you switched that. So both of you have like really cool, what I think like really cool methodology in terms of steps that someone can take to get out of that funk. So I want you to think about like, for someone that's listening right now who's trying to start that growth path, they're trying to get past adversity, to what you just shared, Juliet and Naz, they're really trying to start stepping into unconditional growth. I would love to start off, let's start with you, Naz. What's a really good first step, like that first place that they can start moving towards unconditional growth if they're in a place where they feel kind of stuck right now?
Absolutely. So I actually have like a 3-step process, but I'll just give you the first step, I guess, for now.
You can give us all 3 if you'd like.
Okay, yeah, sure. They're pretty simple, so it's not like complicated. I hate complicated. So I always say that growth isn't complicated. It's just about 3 things. Number one is understanding what conditions are holding you back from creating your limitless success. Number two, making a decision to remove all those conditions and deciding what you want to be known as. And number three is just taking consistent, strategic, and massive action to become the person that you want to be. The restrictions that we place on ourselves are totally our own, okay? I don't want to blame anyone else for the restrictions that we have. It's just that we've created this idea of what success needs to look like. And I really believe that our success doesn't need to look like Joan's or John's. It's just that we need to create our own path, because in order to create a sustainable business and sustainable growth in general, it has to be our own. So unconditional growth is just the method that kind of takes us out of this constant hustle of feeling like we have to be all the things to all the people and all the places, and instead getting into the flow of finding and what our stepping stones are and what our pathways are to create this continuous and sustainable growth.
That was like a $15,000 coaching session wrapped up in like 2 minutes. I need you to hit rewind and listen again, because those are some very important steps. And one of the things that you just said, Naz, that I think is so important is identifying those obstacles. Because a lot of times we don't want to acknowledge the issues that are keeping us stuck. Like, it's intimidating to think about those challenges or what might come, and, and those challenges that may come. So I really love that you started off that way. Like, I acknowledge there will be challenges to overcome, and that way you're better equipped to handle them. That's really good.
Yes, I love challenges. I actually say that failure and challenges are just our opportunity to think bigger. So I love them.
Yes, failure is feedback.
Yeah.
Juliet, you have already shared with us some of the challenges that would have most people unable to help anyone else. And you're actually here right now. You've made it your mission. You started an international movement of women and helping them overcome the very things that you've dealt with. So what would you say, what is that first step from you for someone to get past a big setback, a toxic relationship, grief, a challenge, adversity? What's the great first step?
The first great step is, Erica, is self-care. Because as women, we always put everything before, you've got the dog, the husband, the kids, the work, everything, and we keep forgetting about us. So if we don't take care of ourselves, no one is. And I always say to my clients, first, take care of yourself. So if you're not being coached at the moment, or seeing a therapist or whoever you're taking help from, it's very important to take care of yourself. Then get some help, either a coach, either a therapist, but you need someone on your side to have your back to push you in the right direction. And with that, the best thing that everyone can do is personal growth. Never, ever stop learning. Go and read some books, go and watch some YouTube videos. These days, it's so easy to get so much knowledge. Keep questioning, keep growing as a person, and journal and connect, if it's God, the universe, whatever it is, meditate, because all of that will help you to grow and be the better version of you.
Mic drop. So we have these mic drop moments on the show. You both, like I talk about, some people are like throwing the mic and kicking it. You guys are just like diamond nuggets. And I'm very committed to personal growth, because I know what it's like when life starts throwing curveballs at you. And Naz has she has her shield up, like, yes, bring it on. Most of us are like in the corner shaking, like little bunny rabbits, like, please, no more. So I love that what you all bring to the table is something that can help people. And everything that you shared today, there's nothing outside of ourselves, quite honestly, that we need to take that initial step. And I love that about what you just shared, because for the self-care, for acknowledging the challenges, it takes nothing else but a few minutes of listening to messages like this. And I'll even add, Juliet, to that list of personal development. Listen to the Erica Latrice on the Air podcast every day if you want to add something for great women like this, because it really is what we're feeding our mind every day. And I have a formula that I call focus, and I wasn't trying to do like a shameless plug, but part of it really is, it really is feed your mind, because what you're feeding your mind, if it's news, if it's tragedy, if it's stress, your thoughts become your feelings become your actions. And if you're feeding all these horrible thoughts, I can guarantee you can wake up feeling like defeated and the day
But
hasn't started.
Erica, that's very true. The mind doesn't care what you say to it. So it's better to feed it the good stuff, because then it will go, okay, I believe you.
Yes. And that's so true. We're like little computers. So speaking of computers, for someone that's on their computer and they're looking to get connected with you, to follow you across social media, to type in and all the great things that you're doing, let's start with you, Juliet. What's the best way that we can get connected with all those great resources that you have?
You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and you can find those on my website, thehappinesscurator.co.uk. And as it's the shameless plug in that we're allowed, I am launching my podcast at the end of March. So please go on my website, get my newsletter, and you will be hooked up to that when it comes out.
Yes, I think we'll do like a toxic relationship. You'll have to come back to the show, Juliet, to talk
My pleasure.
relationships before your launch. Yes, because I feel like we've kind of connected talking about that. So I think that would be a really great way you can come back on the show right before you launch, so we can take that a step further. What about you, Naz? What's the best way that we can learn more about the unconditional growth method and get connected with you?
Absolutely. So first of all, I love hanging out in my Facebook group. It's a community of some amazing women that are just driven to make change happen. And you can find that on Facebook at the Next Level Female CEOs. I'm also on Instagram and Pinterest, and you can find me under Next Level Up CEO, or you can visit my website at www.nextlevelupceo. I have crazy amounts of freebies and downloads just to help people really start building the momentum in their business and trying to create their unconditional growth in their business.
So powerful. I love it. So as you can hear from women like Juliet, women like Naz, they have a mission and they're turning it into a movement. And if that is you, if you are someone who's ready to step out and share your story, I just want to remind you today that someone needs what you have overcome. The vision that you have, the mission that you have, it's not a coincidence. And as both of them have taught us today, even the adversity that you faced is not a coincidence. The challenges that you faced, the critique that you've given yourself, it's not a coincidence. So I invite you to take the Amplify Her challenge that I talk about all the time. I probably talk y'all's ears off. Join the Leaders Lounge. It's free. It's an online platform where you can even find more resources to connect with women like Juliet and Naz. And I would even say actually Juliet and Naz, because I'll make sure that their resources are in there too. But yeah, so take that leap. You can stay connected with me across social media at Erica Empowers. Get in the Leaders Lounge. And if this message encouraged you, tag a trailblazer, tell a friend, share it with them. And as I'm always telling you guys, go out and make today amazing, because it is absolutely a choice. Juliet, Naz, I want to thank you so much for taking time to be on the show today.
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me. Yeah.